Hi, everybody. Rich Gibbons with Speak Inc. And today we are here with Eric Qualman, better known as Equalman. Equalman, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. We just got out of a session. Eric was in front of about 150 commercial real estate people. Very, I don't want to say, just a tough crowd. They weren't terribly emotive, but the thing I noticed, I was at the back of the room, and Eric's content is incredibly pragmatic and useful and thought-provoking. And I can't tell you the number of guys I saw who they would lift their camera or they were nodding. And so they were restrained, but they were digging your stuff.
No, thank you. And a lot of it, credit goes to you and your team for making me prepped, because you always say, is it better to know the audience or your material? And first and foremost, you need to know the audience.
Right.
And then if you know both, then it's a win.
Right, right. There was one moment in particular. So, when you see a movie or you read a book and you're like, oh, it was so good. And then somebody says, well, why was it good? What made it good? And I'm like, you just had to be there, And it's hard to capture every little nuance and essence of what made your session good. But there were a number of different things that I thought were under the general heading of experiential. Mm-hmm. And you look like you have fun with the, what did you call it? The multitasking versus
multitasking versus switch tasking, yes.
Right,
yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Which really pops the bubble of sort of false belief that I can do two things at once and I can do all these things at the same time, which is nonsense.
Right. Yeah, no, it is nonsense. And to your point, it's more fun for me and the audience if it's a collective,
right,
rather than you just shouting at them.
Right.
And so that's what's been a learning over time. And so it's been great. You're using pen, you're using pencil, you're using your phone, you're raising your hands, you're getting people to move.
Right.
And so that makes it more fun for everyone, because then you're collectively there together rather than just one person trying to run the show.
Exactly.
And so that's been a learned process,
right,
doing this so many years. And so it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, it was so in that exercise in particular, it was so funny to see, commercial real estate, they're all alpha male, type A, hard charging. And they were, pen and paper, and they were hovering over their paper like, I'm going to ace this thing. And Eric walks them through an exercise where, having your mind, the way our minds work, they are they function better and they are way more productive when they can focus on one thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I had it wrong for many, many years. Like a lot of us is like, oh, how do I get ahead?
Right.
How do I beat Father Time? Father Time.
I do 7 things at the same time.
How do I ring more out of my day? So it's all good why we quote unquote multitask. But when we're multitasking, we're actually switch tasking. So you're getting less done, and it has negative health ramifications. And so it'd be
you're getting less done, and you're not even doing it as well as you would if you were just focused on that one.
And to your point, behind the scenes, is that maybe 5 years ago I just kind of expressed that point. Yeah. But then you'd see people, I could tell in the audience, are going, yeah, but I can multitask.
Right.
So then
that applies to other people, but not me.
So that's why you got to really show versus tell. And so that's why the more hands-on, like, let's just show what's happening.
Yes, exactly.
And like you said, everyone gets super competitive when I have them do this written exercise, which is timed. We won't have time to go into the exact exercise now. But then they get really engaged. And then you can show them versus tell them. Right.
Well, that was the experiential component, and you could just see these. I think there is an element of there's all of us have a stripe of intellectual arrogance about us. Like, oh, well, that applies to other people, but it doesn't apply to me. Yeah. And then you do that exercise, which took you a whopping 90 seconds to do that.
Yeah.
And I could see on the facial expressions, they were like. Oh, wow. Now I get it. Yeah. And it's, as opposed to telling them, you had them doing it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. And then it also gets back to the prep that your team's super helpful on, because you need a pen and paper at the event. A lot of events just aren't going to have those. Sure. And so that's super helpful. And it's tactile, right? And so I talk about Flintstones and Jetsons. So I want to make sure.
Touch on that. Expand on that.
So when you think about the future, if you want to future-proof yourself, is that technology changes every second, but human nature never does.
Right.
So you're not going to replace this. We're here face-to-face in San Antonio, and so we're face-to-face.
Right.
And so you can't replace that. That's the Flintstones. And then you layer in the technology with the Jetsons to help deepen those relationships. But if that's what you're talking about, so that's just an example, what I'm going to be talking about is that if you can actually show them, here's Flintstones, here's tactile. We're going to do this exercise, paper, pen. Mm-hmm. Then the next exercise is Jetsons. Get mm-hmm. out your phones.
Oh, right,
and
right,
so
right.
It's kind of meta a little bit, not like the company, but meta in the sense that you're actually showing them Flintstones and Jetsons through their actions in the experience. And I didn't say event on purpose, because we might have put on events before, but we want to make sure we're giving the audience an experience.
Yeah, right. Well, it was very, saying experiential is very apt. And when I think for a lot of people in the lecture industry, they think of given your pedigree, the arc of your background, professional background, you've been immersed in technology for a long time, and I think a lot of people tend to put people in our landscape tend to put you in the technology bucket, and you certainly are in the technology bucket. But the thing that was really remarkable to me, and it's not the first time I've seen your content, but it was sort of re-impressed upon me, was how Homo sapien is an animal, and we have certain predilections and ways in which we think and react to things. And a lot of Eric's content that I've found very helpful coming out of his book, The Focus Project, is just that ability to achieve a higher level of productivity through single channel focus, but being really intentional about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of been a fun arc because it goes hand in glove. And so a lot of people in the industry might not know that I often, James Clear, like, oh, James Clear, we need James. Well, James is booked, or this is his fee. And then it's like, oh, well, Eric's a great fit for that. Like, oh, I thought he's a futurist. But it's like, no, it goes hand in glove.
Right. Focus
on being the change versus fearing that change. How do I focus on big versus busy? So while I've been in the tech space for a long time, I love tech, but I only love it if it allows us to be more human. So I love technology because it removes friction that gives us more time for us to truly live our lives. And for us as a business, gives us more time so we can actually be more human for our customers and our clients.
Right.
And that's why I love technology, because if it's done well, it's allowing you to be more human.
Right. Well, it's an interesting, there were two sort of modalities in the program that there was a lot of pragmatism around how can we very pragmatically leverage technology to amplify who we are and what we're doing. But there were elements of, like the Morgan Freeman poem that scrolls, was, how do we think about what we want? How do we want to be thought of 5 months, 5 years, 5 decades from now? What digital footprints do we want to leave behind? So it has an inspirational element too.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, when you think about what you just mentioned, technology changes every second, human nature never does. So if you look at Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits, it starts off with a great thought process. What do you want people to say about your funeral?
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, now we hear modern world, is that you don't have to wait for your funeral to know what's being said about you, because you can look it up online, and now through AI search, you can actually see what's being said about you. It allows you to course correct right now, this second.
Right.
Is this truly the life I want to live?
Craft your own eulogy.
Yeah. And so crafting your own digital stamp, which is the new eulogy.
Yeah.
And so the beautiful thing about them is that you can do something about it.
Right. And I think that's where you blended in the notion that rather than trying to map out A to Z, start with Z and work your way back.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever you do out there, it's going to be, are you creating smiles?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to be in business very long. So are you creating a smile for partner, teammate, client's face?
Yep.
So start with the Z, then walk your way back. And along that line, more times than not, you're going to see a place for technology that will help remove the friction, that will help create the smile for that end user.
Right. Well, for anybody out there looking for, I don't even know what bucket to put it in, but it's, if you're human, the content is valuable and it's just incredibly entertaining. And based on the number of people who came up to Eric after the program and said that was amazing, I got so much out of that. A guy was just asking, about on paper you'd think, oh, like a lot of this is going to be relating to the professional realm and professional development, but so much of it relates to our personal lives.
Yeah, I mean, they'll usually not ask it in a forum, but when at the book signings or after, like that gentleman came up and said, hey, my son plays at XYZ football school. He's not making the travel team. What should I tell him to keep him encouraged? So I love those questions because I always catch it with like, I don't know if you've had this question before. I know it's maybe not related, but then I love those questions because again, it's how can we be more human?
Right. Well, this guy's got game. If you're looking for anything, and I am not even going to try to enumerate the different buckets that you would fall into, but really impactful content and gets people thinking differently and in an incredibly entertaining way.
No, thank you. So, yeah, edutainment.
There you go. There you go. Well, thanks for all you do, and we'll see you on the next one.